Have you ever tried to write English in runes? Has anybody told you you're doing it wrong? Well, how would they know? Which rune master taught them? And what makes one way of writing in runes any better than another anyway? In this video, we'll answer 3 questions. 1. Why are there so many conflicting ways of writing English in runes? 2. What principles provide a solid foundation for writing today's English in runes? 3. How can we buy the book you're going to write in modern English Futhorc? Over to you, Stan.
Thanks, Wayne. So first, why are there so many ways of writing in runes? Well, as with most old things, Rune Man says the answer lies in history. For a start, there isn't just one set of runes. There are multiple runic alphabets called rune rows. If you're writing in one, but your reader understands another, then you may as well be writing in Greek or Phoenician. Although they're related scripts, they are significantly different. Of course, if you only want to use runes as some sort of secret cipher, then what you make each rune stand for doesn't really matter. But most of the time, isn't the point of writing to leave a message for others to read later? To make that happen, you need a consistent writing system. That's not to say it can't be flexible, only that the reader has to be able to interpret what's written. Currently, there are 2 main ways of creating such a system. 1. The open cipher method, and 2. The write-as-you-speak method. Now to tell us about them, here's Hilda.
Thanks, Stan. I've sometimes heard Rune Man call the open cipher method the substitution method. It's often chosen by those who already know how to read or only care so much about history. It's pretty basic. Take the Latin alphabet and replace letters with runes. Its main problem is how to handle characters that do not have one-to-one equivalents, such as those represented by digraphs in Latin script. The write-as-you-speak method is more often favored by people who want to follow the ancient paths, as well as linguists, phonologists, and people who can't spell. How easy it is to learn might depend on your point of view. This method throws spelling in Latin script out the window and returns English spelling to its roots. So runes represent sounds. This makes learning much easier for children because its flexibility makes it feel like a more natural way of spelling. Again, its main problem is how to handle sounds that do not have one-to-one equivalents in runes. Characters representing defunct sounds can also present a challenge, but it's the accent problem that causes most people to give up on this method. If you've been down that road before, you'll be pleased to hear Rune Man has developed a way to minimize that problem. Subscribe to learn more. Back to you, Stan.
Thanks, Hilda. We'll release more historical videos on runes later. For now, let's just say that most contemporary systems have arguments for and against them. When it comes to writing today's English, the 2 most popular rune rows to use are the Elder Futhorc and the Anglo-Saxon Futhorc. The rune row one chooses as the basis for a new system guides what decisions they'll need to make later in regards to various questions. Unfortunately, even different systems that use the same method with the same rune row still suffer from one key problem. That is, different people make different choices about how to resolve the same issues. That creates a situation where even people who are supposedly writing in the same way still can't read each other's runes. This current lack of any common reference point makes it almost impossible for runes to ever be understood by a broad audience. Our goal here at Rune Revival is to change that. We aim to provide a common standard for writing today's English in runes that is both broadly intelligible and sufficiently flexible that it can accommodate local variations without too much confusion. For that, we'll follow Rune Man's guiding principles. Here's Hilda again to tell us what they are.
Thanks, Stan, but I'll leave that question for Wayne. I want to skip ahead to question 3. These days, every other channel wants to sell you a book. Here at Rune Revival, we don't want your money. We want your writing, in runes, published in a book. We are so confident in your ability to learn how to write in modern English Futhorc that we are offering to buy a limited number of texts from you, our audience. We'll publish selected works in a book printed in runes for you to impress all your friends with. Keep a copy on hand for whenever you want to practice reading today's English in runes. The steps are easy. 1. Watch Rune Revival to learn how to write today's English in runes. 2. Write something suitable and original to submit. 3. Wait to find out if ᚱᚢᚾᚉ selects your text. We'll release more details in future videos, so be sure to follow the channel for your chance to have the English-speaking world reading your runes. So Wayne, what are ᚱᚢᚾᚉ's 3 pillars?
Thanks for passing the buck, Hilda. Let's return to question 2. What principles underpin a robust system for writing today's English in runes? At Rune Revival, we've analyzed numerous runic systems. Based on that work, ᚱᚢᚾᚉ has identified 3 pillars upon which strong systems are built. Those 3 pillars are: 1. Historical continuity. We honor our ancestors by respecting the traditions of our forefathers, insofar as is practical. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. 2. Justifiable development. The fact is, today's English is not the same as Old English. But in spite of that, the ways in which our language has changed over the centuries can still guide any adjustments we make to runes' historical purposes. 3. Respect for custom. This pillar isn't as important as the first 2, but its purpose will become more apparent once we begin discussing accents, as well as in some other ways. Some of you may dislike these principles, but every contemporary English runic system requires some compromises. We're not here to disparage other systems. We're only here to offer you the best of what we've found, repackaged as a cohesive and balanced system. After all, modern English Futhorc has been designed with history in mind to minimize compromise and maximize comprehension, while promoting the most effective options for the benefit of all. So, if you're up for the challenge, if you want the world to read what you write in runes, turn the notifications on and start learning modern English Futhorc. Here's a summary of today's lesson.